with today's informational access, it's really easy to find methods and techniques about musical equipment. Way back when I was in high school and we were starting the whole high school band thing, we didn't know that many people that could give us advice or information, so we just kind of had to figure it out for ourselves. And of course we started off with the absolute junkiest equipment possible. So here's some basic information that I wish I could have started with. Here we have the Mackie 1642 VLZ Pro, and in many cases the model number will actually describe some of the features of the board, such as 16 channels, 4 subgroups, and 2 being your stereo left and right output. Before plugging in your mic cable, it's always best to start the gain at the lowest level. At the top of the board, we will be plugging in the microphone cable, also known as the low impedance XLR jack, into the input, aligning the 3 prongs and the little notch. These low impedance inputs can also be used with direct boxes, outputting from your bass amp, keyboards, or even from your guitar amp. Next up on the board we have the high impedance input. You can use a high impedance microphone cable, or you can run the line out from your bass amp, keyboards, or guitar. You cannot use the high and low impedance cable on the same channel. The next feature we have is the insert, and this only affects each individual channel. And with that you can use a compressor, EQ, digital delay, or any other effect that you want. Say you were using this board just for mixing drums. With that you could use a different compressor on every channel, such as kick, snare, hi-hat, tom, 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 and whatever else you might need. You would use your stereo 1/4 inch plug for the insert jack, and then the other ends would be used in the input and output of your effects unit. The turnable knobs are called potentiometers or pots. Next up on the channel is the trim or gain control, which I believe to be probably the most important pot on the whole board. On this and many other types of boards, slowly increase the gain until you see you have the green indicating that you have the signal. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2. We have a good strong green signal, but it is not yet overloading or clipping. Once we start increasing the gain, we will reach overload or clip level, causing distortion. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. Now we're going to turn the main level up so you can hear me a little better. 1, 2. So with that, we're going to turn the gain up and let it distort a little bit so you can hear it. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Hey, 1, 2. All right, all right, all right. 2. If you don't have the gain high enough, then you have to turn up the main output just to get any kind of sound, and it sounds very thin. Check 1, 2, 2, 2. So I believe finding the perfect gain input can make a big difference in the audio output. Check 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2. So there we go. 1, 2. 1, 2. Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good. Depending on the microphone or speaker used, this next feature might help to shave off the lowest frequencies, which might cause hum. The low cut drops off the lower 75 Hz for a slightly more mid-range sound on a bass drum or lower frequency instrument. Keeping the button depressed will leave the bottom end in, and releasing it will shave off that lower frequency. 1, 2, 1, 2. You can see how with the bottom end we are getting more of a gain level on our output. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. On this board there are 4 auxiliary outputs, meaning you can send signals to 4 separate sources such as monitors or effects units. Let's say we are using channel 1 for our lead vocal. For each auxiliary, we can send different levels to whatever we like. Like number 1 could be monitor stage left, 2 could be monitor stage right, 3 could be the drum wedge, and 4 we could use for a reverb or delay unit. If you want to turn your microphones off during your breaks or before your gig and you don't want to move your fader level, just go ahead and hit the mute button. And when you're ready to go on, just go ahead and hit it. And there you go. If you are mixing a live band and you need to quickly see what each individual channel is doing, by hitting the solo button, that will isolate that channel and you can see what the levels are doing on the output. The left-right button at the bottom of the board will send your signal directly to the main mix output. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Check 2 2 2. For a little more complex mixing, these 4 subgroup faders can be used to control their own little separate mixes. As you see, the push buttons are labeled 1 2 3 4, corresponding with the faders 1 2 3 4. Say we want to use 5 microphones on the drums and we want to use the first subgroup to control that level. We would pan hard left with the 1 and 2 button being pushed, and that'll send the signal straight to number 1. Next, maybe using 2 vocals, we would use that same 1 2 channel but pan hard right, and that would send the signal straight to the number 2 fader to control that level. If we had maybe 2 guitars and we wanted them in subgroup 3, we would just pan hard left while the 3 and 4 button is depressed. If we wanted bass and keys in subgroup 4, we would just pan hard right and keep the 3 and 4 button depressed. By using these subgroups, we can tailor the mix to suit our needs, such as bringing the drums down, keeping the vocals up, bringing the guitars down a little bit, and maybe bringing the bass and keyboards down a little in the mix. Many boards have a tape-in feature so you can hook up external audio devices so you can play music during your intermission. You can mute the tape-in feature and control its input level. The tape-out feature can be used to send an audio signal to a recording device. Some boards have the option for an additional soundboard light to be attached. Headphone jacks usually have a main output control. Condenser mics such as this one require additional power to operate. On your board you will find a phantom power button, and this supplies up to 48 volts DC to your microphones. It's always best to have your condenser mics plugged in before turning on the phantom power.